Boulder, you hit it, it's just for some harass. This is just your classic level 1 Earth Spirit play. Secure your SF the mid lane early on, and Newbee can't really pressure the SF because they've committed to this jungle Beastmaster, something Fnatic know. KP doesn't really play the Beastmaster. More often than not, it is in that jungle role, so you can get away with this greedier mid-hero that normally is very prone to the ganks.
But this also allows Newbee to have that very sweet timing coming around that 10-minute mark, and we'll see who's able to push. Because I know we were discussing this when we saw the Prophet come out. We're like, hey, is this going to beat like one of these attack into the tier 1 towers? Do we get Drow Ranger, like heroes like this, to allow for the early pressure against Newbee? But it seems like both teams can actually hold back. They can just farm until they hit that sweet timing. So who hits their timing first? Who's looking to be the aggressors?
Yeah, and for Fnatic, very early on, you talk about DJ a bit. There's a lot of pressure on him to set up almost every gank, but to follow up every gank is going to be a higher. He'd love to get the fast phase boots up, find himself towards the top lane. If he can secure his team a kill, then he can instantly TP back bottom and continue to farm. This is actually a great game for Nature's Prophet to get a lot done in the first 10 minutes before Newbee hit that timing you were talking about.
How do you gank a hero like a Weaver, however? Like, do you almost just let him go and focus more on Moo?
Yeah, you want to actually prioritize more ganks towards the mid lane. We see another roll in, Moo just going to keep getting harassed down, and this is just very annoying for him more than anything.
Yeah, this is a space creation method at the moment. It's allowing Mushi to stay neck and neck with the CS, but obviously it's going to get easier for Mushi as he starts to bank up those souls. And up on the top lane, how is Chorn meant to play this too? Like, he wants to go and do the pulse. 343 did go for the straight up point up and chilling touch, so there's no bypassing it on this Ancient Apparition skill build. How is he meant to synergize with this PL? Do you try and actually find the opening, like harass Chorn down a little bit?
Yeah, if Chuan comes to the lane, you start throwing lances at him, and probably the second lance is when you can actually initiate on him with a Chilling Touch PL. You break the gap using Doppelganger, you could even go for an early point in Phantom Rush, but the level 2 Phantom Lance is very hard for Chuan. Because he's bought the wards, the courier, Chuan is not even close to boot, so this top lane's just dangerous for him. He's not even trying to help the Weaver get farmed.
Which is kind of making it so mid one's able to find some easy CS. The only other lane which we haven't really broken down just yet, we sort of talk about Ohio trying to work into those early phase boosts to find early damage, but it's KP's Lifestealer on the off lane. He's already found 10 CS, he's managed to find 3.5 levels on this Lifestealer. Doesn't really seem to be that pressure, because how is a Prophet even meant to pressure a Lifestealer? Yeah. He's just going to steal back everything you harass off him.
On paper, it should be a better matchup for Ohio, but he's not using his treants to harass, probably seeing the early Poor Man's Shield on KT, so just deciding it's not totally worth it, but he'll use some of his mana now, and also has the backup of DJ, who's trying to just get that level, probably early level 3, because he really needs silence to gank these heroes. You talk about how do you gank a player like How on Weaver, you've got to do it with the silence.
I want to watch this mid lane as close as we possibly can, even though there's going to be a little bit of chip in the other lanes. It's the smoke maneuver from Chuan. He's looking for an opening over on Mushi, and so far Mushi hasn't come out until just as the smoke's going to break, so Chuan comes in with the illusion room, but Mushi, he was playing on the southern part of that lane just to make sure that nothing happens. SF's renowned for being ganked in the early phase.
And Mushi picks up raindrops before he has boots in this mid lane. Very defensive, recognizing that the ganks from the Venge are going to be coming his way, and he can just block a Crypt Swarm off of this. That's enough to probably keep him alive if a Venge gank like we just saw happens. This actually means he can push up when the creep wave's on the other side of the river.
Top lane, Hal wants to try and get a little bit aggressive on 343. There's the magic missile stun from Chuan, keeping 343 at bay and just allowing Hal to have a little bit of an easier target. So maybe 343 just has to be a little bit more defensive now. Even with the Sentry Ward down, they're going to know when Hal gets aggressive, but they don't have any like ops. There's no clear vision when Chuan's going to rotate away from the pull points.
Yeah, it's quite tough for him. I'd really like to see DJ head back towards this mid lane now. They've got the Nature's Prophet phase boots up, and something Ohio does that no other Nature's Prophet does is he's actually leveling up teleport. He is so much more aggressive on this hero than any other Nature's Prophet player out there. He'll skill up the TP. He loves to go kind of prioritize ganking more than what you normally see. He doesn't care as much about pushing, and this is not a Fnatic draft built around pushing. They don't need the treants as much as they need the kills.
Well, you said it yourself, like, what's Ohio really going to get from treants being inside the lane? He pushes it over towards the camps on the sides. Maybe that helps. Mid, DJ, again going to miss on the boulder.
Yeah. Ohio was already channeling the TP, but with the rolling boulder miss, it looks like they don't go for it.
Ohio actually locked inside of his own trees. KP tried to get aggressive with the open wounds, pushing Ohio back underneath his own tier 1 tower.
And that's just punishing. Ohio's eyes were entirely on mid lane, waiting for that roll, and KP recognizing that is pressuring him, keeping low HP, so Ohio's going to be deterred from TPing in the mid lane
Mid
when
one,
he's
a
this low.
little bit of trouble up on the top lane. The bug's already got him. He'll doppelganger himself down. But how does he get out of this one? The answer is he doesn't. It will be Hao who spills the first blood on the top lane against Fnatic.
And Kaka's just gone completely uncontested in the jungle. TP in mid, here comes Ohio.
They need that opening. Here it is. Boulder forward move.
Oh,
Actually going to get
DJ.
pushed in range of the tier 1 tower. Didn't really kick the way he wanted to. And Mushi having a very hard time finishing the job on move. And they'll actually have to back up a failed rotation from Fnatic.
Newbee's Kaka has rotated bottom, about to hit level 6 off of the Centaur camp. He has been scouted out by an observer ward, as the level 6 likely to be, will be scouted out immediately as well, so Fnatic at least wary of Kaka's presence here in bottom.
Means mid one's going to be a lot more defensive. At least he knows that KP doesn't have any level of burst damage, so even if the Raw is over on mid one, the chance of KP getting the kill, like unless he is able to utilize Infest, is probably not going to happen. You don't have something like a Wrath of Nature from Nature's Prophet to come in. And Ohio now has actually just left and gone up to the top lane. He'll still TP down a bit, because he's got the 3 points up in teleportation, so he always wants to be everywhere. DJ, the Raw, catching him mid-boulder. He thought he would come down, just steal the room from KP. Now Mushi, with one raise, they're going to open wounds. Mushi has the TP out. There's no more sons of Babel, and Mushi dropping down to 38 HP. Very close to death, but found just the right time in the Infest. There's that burst that doesn't really come from the Newbee lineup.
They really are committing a lot to try to have this active Nature's Prophet with his build, but Fnatic have had no opening for the kills. The gates onto Mood, just the execution hasn't quite been there for Fnatic here in game number 1. And instead it's Newbee with the early kills. They're farming away in 3 lanes plus the jungle. They've got all of their core heroes and a jungler doing well. This is very scary for the Fnatic lineup in terms of just not getting enough out of the laning stage.
Yeah, because the progression's going the way of Newbee. So you got just over, it's about 1.2, 1.3k net worth going the way of Newbee, and about 2.2, 2.3k in the experience also going the way of Newbee. So level progressions on heroes like, especially like Death Prophet, this is the danger zone. When that high level up of Exorcism arrives, then Newbee will hit that point too where they can just push. And with no pressure on Kaka, even the Necrobook is looking like a decent timing for your jungler.
Yeah, Kaka having complete free farm while they've been managing to win the lanes at the same time is just a complete disaster for Fnatic's early game. And Kaka is going to have probably just heal up, go for another smoke rotation, try and time it with a Death Prophet Exorcism, so it's not just a kill, but they can start getting towers.
DJ trying to get a little clever there with how he was hiding in the tree lines. Allowed him to soak up some experience. Maybe if there was a small opening, Ohio could just let the Wrath of Nature go and TP over.
But the Hawk positioning, you've got this jungling Beastmaster. He's keeping vision for his team while this happens. He scouts out to protect Hao behind the tier 1 top tower. There's a Hawk going mid. So one of the really nice things about this Beastmaster jungle is you're always kind of keeping tabs of your opponent's movement.
You actually see Fnatic commit the scan to the exact same place the Hawk is watching. He's worried about the Newbee rotation from behind, when no real surprise behind that as well. Primarily because you've got Chuan. He's the king of rotations for Newbee. He's always there at the right place at the right time. Even here, just sitting behind Moo, just in case something comes at him. Because it's been a while since Moo's been pressured by Fnatic. After that failed 3-man maneuver into mid.
It's starting to look like a game where Mushiasef is just going to have to go ham. Like, there's going to be so much pressure on him to carry this game in the late game. At the same time, despite DJ not getting a lot done in the early game, there's going to be a lot of pressure on him to actually be the only real reliable lockdown against a Weaver, against a Lifestealer in some ways. So
how is Mushi meant to carry, however, when you don't have what was normally SS bread and butter? It's the heavy amount of stacks which you can just come in, flash farm, and get ahead. Instead, the Nature's Prophet, who had to basically, well, firstly abandon bottom lane, then go up to top, and then abandon that one as well, leave DJ there. There's just nothing. Like, he doesn't have any stacks because the Prophet took it all.
Still a hero who doesn't farm at Alchemist levels, but even with a slow start can power farm very quickly, and Mushi has not had a slow start by any means, so looking towards his current net worth, he is up there with Hao, who's the most farmed hero in the game. So in terms of his progression, he's doing very well, but SF doesn't have these like easy item build-ups like he used to with the SMY. This hero takes a lot more in the way of farm.
Kaka and Chuan. They put the Observer Ward down, they see Mushi, moves forward, there's your wall with a wave of terror. Mushi won't be too healthy, let that Wrath of Nature go, and Mushi maybe will with the razors. It hits hard on the Chuan, moves down low with a boulder in from DJ. They got enough power, they bring down first the Death Prophet, and Kaka's on the run. Hao comes in from behind as well, but mid is able to find him. Mushi wants to turn for the razors, but with the time lapse, the Weaver is able to repair all the damage and come back up to the Radiant Ancients. So Newbee, big smoke initiation, but just gets turned on.
Yeah, Fnatic were just so good responding to that one as quick as they did. A higher rate to TP in. Fnatic had everyone that needed to be there. The Earth Spirit of DJ gets the silence on Death Prophet, follows up with a stun, and they kill Moo. How even rotated into flank for that one? Like, Newbee were all in with that rotation. How one of the most aggressive carry players out there, but Fnatic just had the numbers to repel them, and well, you can see kind of what Fnatic's intent is going to be. A higher going into a Midas on Nature's Prophet, something we just like haven't seen on this hero in a long time. But Fnatic want to go late game. You've got SF, PL, and now a Nature's Prophet with Midas. Your late game is very scary.
Yeah, they just have to make sure that Newbee's early movements don't really come to much and continue to advance themselves forward. We still haven't really, like, again, KP on this bot lane. He's also walking around with 2k gold in this lifestealer. Are you actually able to run this when you get the early level 11? Do you look for the Radiance lifestealer ancient build?
It's very good with this 5-man Deathball push strat, which Newbee have to kind of build around the life. It's not even building around the lifesteal, it's lifestealer building around his teammates. You're looking at this dual aura with Beastmaster, Vengeful Spirit, the Exorcism to push with, so having an ancient creep in the front lines with Radiance basically means defending towers is damn near impossible for Fnatic, so if KP can get a decent time on the Radiance, which right now he's the second most farmed
They
in the
break the
game.
smoke. They're looking for Hao right now. The kick, at least able to get the silence, but Hao was already into Chikuchi.
Yeah, this is such a great game for a Radiance for KP, so I'd be very much expecting him to go that route.
Yeah. Well, Fnatic looks like they may be the first ones to try and claim a tier 1 tower, even though the bottom tower is taking some heavy damage thanks to KP creep skipping it out. Mid lane's also preparing as Newbee. They stare it down. There's no exorcism for 15 seconds. As Fnatic bring in the support, that Observer Ward in between the towers sees practically all. And they also understand that Mushi's still not coming back yet.
Yeah, Mushi's just going to be claiming some towers of his own and taking over this top lane for as long as possible. Fnatic aren't incredibly intent on fighting the mid-tier 1 tower. You want to try and defend him. Having de-warded that pesky Observer Ward between the towers and mid lane, it does get a lot easier to actually defend this tower since Newbee have been denied some vision.
Yeah, some vision, but you're still running that Beastmaster, and the Hawks are everywhere. They almost have to start blind kicking to try and find them.
So far, they've done a decent job hunting them down, so very risky to push as Newbee because the Ice Blast is such a good spell to have to initiate and blow up a target. If you have DJ who somehow hits a Boulder Smash from Fog and an Ice Blast to follow it up, someone like Death Prophet, Weaver, Lifestealer even may just get blown up before they can even get off a single spell.
This is something we were touching on a little bit. I know we got ourselves a little bit of a smoke rotation towards the top lane, so this may actually, yeah, it could come to something. Chikuchi just got used. Prophet would love to come forward. DJ needs the perfect kick with the Ice Blast. Hao, the block comes out. Chorn saving his teammate, allowing Hao to now time-lapse off the damage. The sacrificial lamb.
That's like just great positioning from Chorn, knowing that his Weaver's farming a spot where he's a bit prone to a smoke gank. Death Prophet's by a tower, so if Death Prophet gets ganked, you can TP in and hopefully save him, but he's just protecting the asset that is Hao. This is the kind of playmaking carry player that you know can deliver a lot come mid-game time, so
a huge asset I wanted to look to, and we talked about the Mana Star build over on the Phantom Lance to try and dodge out the stun of the Death Prophet, maybe keep himself just away from the rest of Newbee. He's going for straight Diffusal Blade. Is this an indication that Fnatic just are willing and ready to fight, or is the Diffusal almost meant to be more like a buffer, something to discourage Newbee from fighting?
it's amazing. It's like a core item on PL, however you look at it. The only real consideration if you get when you get Diffusal before Manta, it's just whether you get the Yasha or not. Yasha is a good fighting item, but Mid-1 likes this Diffusal build because it mana burn really cripples some of these low mana full heroes. Heroes like Lifestealer, heroes like Beastmaster before they start getting levels in the Necrobook, and being able to quickly burn through the mana pool of some of these newbie heroes and adds a lot of it's the most cost-effective damage item for an illusion-based hero like PL, so we'll see the Manta Cell afterwards, but the Diffusal's just like the natural item progress before it.
The Ancient Black Dragon is on the prowl. So Lifestealer managed to find the best creep he can find inside the game and using it to actually find that last bit of gold. He's got the money for the relic, still not Radiance yet.
It'll come very quickly, and he's not really in too much risk of dying when he can just farm in the Black Dragon.
Well, not until Mushi gets bigger, but for now Mushi's going to more defensive items, finish up that BKB before anything else.
And he recognizes that this scary timing push from Newbee is coming. It's a bit later than maybe what we talked about. We've mentioned 10 minutes in, but they're kind of timing it more around the Radiance, the Lifesteal than I think Moo in the mid lane's just been happy to sit here. Hasn't left his lane the entire
Bottom
game.
lane, they're looking for the roll on him. He'll actually doppelganger himself around. Now the roll will go, but it was on an illusion. And Kaka realizes this does not work. The boulder comes forward, but does not reach him in time.
So, found some necro books, but they're not even going to try and risk that one. Mid one very low on HP and mana.
Would that swap? Yep. Higher dragged in. The upblast is on his way. He's going to hit both Hal as well as Sean. Sean with the damage from the tower, and the tree is behind him. He's dropped very, very low. The raises from Mushi are trying to help the Shadow go. A nice TP out from the Ancient Apparition. Sean still on the run and will survive. Mushi, he almost needs a blind raid. His max range one will cool out in a moment. Now Moo attacks and Mushi will just TP out. They have no stuns.
Newbee just finding the pickoffs at this stage of the game while farming much more of the map. You've got KP aggressively farming the Radiant jungle in this bottom lane. You've got the top lane being farmed by Hal, the mid lane being constantly farmed by the Death Prophet, and then Kaka like pulling away. It just feels like Newbee are getting way more out of the map than what we're seeing from Fnatic. The Midas does somewhat negate a bit of that farm advantage. PL also great
top lane, prepare yourself. The Ice Blast is coming up here. Chorn's been trying to dodge the Ice Blast for a while, but with that Sprout, Hal gets locked in. Mushi, the perfect raises.
He was 1 sec short of time lapse. Hal just, I don't even want to call it greedy because he's like looking at this like, okay, 1 second from now, 2 seconds from now, I'm going to be fine. I can risk going to the tower, but Fnatic, bit of luck or just amazing timing getting there before Hal had the time lapse.
I still love the fact like Newbee were considering both options. Sean actually stopped himself from arriving back in his fountain. He thought the Ice Blast was going to come from him, but Fnatic saw a better target. So we're 3-3 in, so a low kill game, so only 6 kills, 16 minutes in. The advantage still isn't that big, like it's about 3k, both gold and experience going the way of Newbee, which in this game, I don't think it's really going to mean that much.
Very curious to see what Ohio goes for on Nature's Prophet. He's got 2.8k gold. Orchid very good against some of these heroes. And you can tell Fnatic, they're not looking to push, take objectives, because almost always you see Ohio on Nature's Prophet go for the drums, the mech, these team-based items. But this is a game where Fnatic want to scale well in the late game. They'd rather see something like a Shadow Blade or a Maelstrom, even an Orchid Rush. So, what can Newbee get done here?
Okay, we're looking at a Roshan. They triggered this X very early on and away from the Fnatic tier 1 tower in mid, and basically all of Fnatic. First will make a break for the tree line. He'll boulder and TP out, so the silence from Moo doesn't come in time. So Exorcism is wasted, Newbee missed an aggressive moment, and Fnatic don't. They're straight back to that mid lane. They want that T1 tower gone.
Yeah, I almost wonder if that was a misclick from Moo, popping it when and where he did, and as a result, without Exorcism, Fnatic wary of that. They may be able to get multiple towers here. They're 5-manning with intent to push and pressure Newbee now.
Well, with
very scary.
With no Exorcism, you got a level 2 Requiem of Souls, the Vandal as well. Your PL's in a very comfortable position. You got Ice Blast to work with. You're not really feeling the effect of the Lifestealer just yet. They will take out that tier 2 tower. It's still coming at a cost. The Necro units, the boards, and the Catapult are taking the tier 2 tower on bottom lane. Yeah. So they have to fortify. In fact, they're actually going to lose their tower here. Nothing can really stop this. The boards just try and time it right, which they will do so. So Kaka takes out that bottom tower, and the mid lane actually remains alive for Newbee. They do not have to go for the trade.
Yeah, Fnatic backed off a bit. Ohio wanted to use his Midas, among other things. And Ohio actually going to go for an Ag Scepter this game, so opting for more of the split push play.
They really want to delay this game out. With both Ags as well as like a BT PL, they could just try and play the side lane game against Newbee.
Yeah, you look at Newbee's draft, catch from Beastmaster, but that's a great catch on its own. Lifestealer can always infest in the Beastmaster, so they've got decent punish for heroes like Nature's Prophet trying to split push, but the beauty of the Ags is that your treants do the split push for you. You can stay in the tree, you can go into a Blink Dagger if you really want, and just never go near the Newbee heroes. And part of Newbee's push is that it's this 5-man death ball. So yeah, you know that's coming, you get this split push heroes. You get these items like Boots of Travel up on PL that can also split push very well. So even though Newbee have catch, they don't want to be split around the map. Newbee want to be grouped up as 5.
Yeah. I'm really wondering how long you can be aggressive with KP doing this in the Lifestealer. He's got himself one of the Granite Golems, and it's just running around the mid lane. But as Mushi gets bigger, he's going to be able to deal with this a lot easier. And maybe, well, okay, he's just getting chipped a little bit. Nothing more.
Can't really pop out. At best, he could force Mushi to BKB away, which is probably not a decent outcome, the 10-second BKB of Mushi being wasted. But for Newbee, they may look towards that next Exorcism helping them take Roshan. They're kind of at that time where the tier 1's mid tower is also a kind of top priority for them, but
Ow. So Ohio's going to be very defensive. Sprout himself up, protect himself from the Weaver. The rest of Fnatic were looking towards the bottom lane to try and add a little bit of pressure to the tier 1 tower, but Newbee have brought the numbers down here too, so they bail out of that one. Mushi goes back to the mid lane.
I'm not totally sold on Ohio going to this ag, except yeah, it's gonna, these streams will just throw a lot of gold towards the Newbee side, who have a lot of great scaling heroes. 4 of their heroes sitting over 7,000 net worth just at 20 minutes in, so the overall strategy and game plan with this is fine, but I think Newbee's response to seeing this is like just going to be, let's prioritize a little bit less the 5-man push, and we can take team fights, and that's what they're looking to do here at bottom with these key item pickups. Necro 3, Lincoln Sphere, they've got the Yule Scepter for the catch as well on Death Prophet.
They got scouted out, however, by these trees. How also gets silenced up by DJ. There's no tier 1 tower, there's no tier 2 tower, so Newbee are literally down here to fight. And Fnatic are coming here to fight too, especially when the Lifestealer inside that Granite Golem comes from behind. They still have a lot of damage to get rid of that Granite Golem, and they have to bail out. There's no real... Is there even a purpose for Fnatic to fight this?
They'll kind of take what trades they can get. They actually snipe a Necrobook, which is nice money for DJ, although he takes a lot of damage, but really just good calculated defensive play there. Fnatic hit the Ancient Granite Golem when it's pushed up ahead, but as soon as Newbee looks to come back it up, they stop attacking it. They're not worried about killing it, because if KP pops out, they can't really deal with a Rage Lifestealer, but it means the push kind of ends, because Fnatic can't exactly push off of like a very low HP Granite Golem.
Yeah. Now, Ohio's already having his fun up on top lane. Someone from Newbee has to come up here and deal with him shortly. But he's still holding on to that ultimate of his, and the money just keeps rolling in as well for Fnatic. Like, yes, Newbee is getting more and more ahead. Actually, I wasn't expecting the graph to go that heavily towards Newbee, but they have been taking out the towers.
Yeah. And not a huge amount of farm going the way of Moo on Death Prophet, which is one of the heroes you don't want to fall behind in terms of farm. Often Death Prophet drafts can suffer because you've got your carry who's doing really well. We've seen a few games though where the carry's farming well, Death Prophet falls behind, and suddenly you can't actually push and take objectives because the Death Prophet's too squishy.
It does feel that like Newbee have other things to fall back on. It's almost like a 4-core line because you're running the Beastmaster, who's got so much farm.
Yeah. Well, Scam will see Fnatic's movement towards the mid lane, which was a smoke play. At least Mushi is currently smoked up. And no. I mean, it's alone, the Granite Golem, but it's unlikely to mount so much for Fnatic.
Yeah, they may have been hoping that Newbee potentially could have been in closer trying to contest up. But Newbee have got some really good observer wards also catching up any movement of Fnatic through their jungle. It's a little bit more of a priority as well, so they're going to get a lot of information from this, primarily because Mushi wants to make the most out of his own jungle. Same for the Nature's Prophet. If there's not someone in there farming, something's a little bit off.
Yeah, Newbee just going to play at Fnatic's pace for now. They're kind of matching Fnatic just because it's like, well, Fnatic's going to split push. We have to at least keep all our lanes pushed out. We can't group up as much. Let's finish that next level of core items. The items which are going to allow us to find pickoffs on these split push heroes. The Blink Dagger comes out for Beastmaster. A Lifestealer, the Weaver gets a Desolator, so he's got more single target damage. So the kill potential of this Newbee draft gets a lot scarier.
They're going to smoke and move down, looking towards potentially, they're going to slip themselves into Roshan. Getting rid of the Observer Wall 2 being done by KP, but Newbee will attempt to bring down the big man of Fnatic. This is actually one of the few times not really scouting it out. There's no treants moving over to this. This is just a simple and very efficient Newbee Roshan.
That was one of the fastest rushes I've ever seen. I'm surprised they actually used Exorcism. I think that was overkill considering they had Desolator and Beastmaster Necrobook, but it's showing a lot of respect to Fnatic's teamfight. They're scared of Fnatic coming in with a BKB Requiem and completely wrecking them there. They're like, okay, if we can kill this in less than 10 seconds, let's do it. And you've still got 5 minutes on Aegis for the Exorcism to cool down.
Fnatic, let's see. They just invade the Dire jungle for the moment, but man, Newbee not going to have a bar of it. How goes to the bottom lane? He starts his push down there. The rest of Newbee are on their way, so count it for 98 seconds until Exorcism is back off cooldown. By that point, Moose should have his BKB, so he should be a lot more stable in the fights, but Fnatic, okay, they're going to reach the tier 2 tower up on the top lane. Their tier 3 tower is about to get harassed a little bit just thanks to the momentum that Hao has given to the bottom lane.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
But that can also be dealt with the Nature's Prophet. So Fnatic still feeling confident, no Exorcism up, there's a lot of physical damage being removed from Newbee's fight.
Newbee ready to fight.
Without the Exorcism, can this really be done? And now with the silence on Hal, the kick as well, they just take Roshan, get the bugs off them. Live Stealer moves to the front lines inside that Granite Golem. You've already got the TP out. Fnatic, they don't want to be involved in this, but in fact, Mushi gets roared up. He decides not to use his BKB. The Yule Step also cancels mid one. He cannot TP out of this. So 2 calls lost for Fnatic. It almost felt like they got caught napping.
Yeah, they just commit to the tower, and Newbee's already swinging up there. For whatever reason, Fnatic just think Newbee aren't going to defend it since they were pressuring bottom with Weaver, but it was just a Weaver solo pushing with Aegis. The rest of the Newbee squad was already looking to defend the top lane, and Hal just TPs to the tier 3 undetected. Fnatic, they linger around too long, and you can't reliably TP away against the Beastmaster. Mushi can't even BKB TP when there is the Beastmaster Raw. And the most important thing is the Weaver Swarm prevents the SF getting that blink escape in the trees. Mushi's thinking, okay, I'm going to just blink away when they come and then TP from the trees, but the Weaver prevents that.
Yeah. They also have to keep in mind too the disruptive nature of the VS. Even if you do make it to the trees, you got the vision you've got from Newbee with Wave as well as Hawk. Fnatic can't really catch Newbee out. It's almost like they just have to be a bigger or more elusive ball when it comes to the team fight against Newbee.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Mushi's going to need a lot more farm, and this is one of the main issues with Fnatic's draft. With the PLSF, these are kind of, you look at their draft like, okay, these are the 2 scary late game carries, but a Nature's Prophet with Ag soaks up a ton of farm on the map. The jungle, all the lanes with the Aghanim Scepter pushes things out, so he's always going to be taking away farm from players like Mushi and mid-1. Al trying to go for a solo kill on Mushi with the boulder forward. Mushi will go down, and Al, the silence is there. Will he sacrifice himself? He only sacrifices the Aegis. You get a Life Stealer inside the Black Dragon. Will pop out, looking for the kill in Ohio. Al might be trapped for the moment, but now he'll break free. Stunned up a little bit again. That Earthspirit doing his job, and Ohio KP still the run after him. The Radiance Burn will do the work, and now he can move to 3-4-3. Open Wounds is back off cooldown again. So you'll find the kill underneath the tier 2 tower, and Fnatic, there is no safe place for them. Al's Weaver just making plays happen. Solo kills Mushi, and then leads into a follow-up 4-for-nothing exchange. Just an Aegis, but that's really what your Aegis is there for. And there's buybacks on the side of Fnatic, and Newbee very likely able to force these out with Exorcism up. This is a scary fast push.
Yeah, that it most definitely is. I don't know if Fnatic can really defend it. Like, they've got buybacks up, but you'll lose so much money, and now the X is removed.
He's got 13 souls.
They have to let it go, but Newbee doesn't want to. They want to force a reaction out from Fnatic. You've just pushed through. You've taken the tier 3 as well as the melee in the mid. Now you go for the bot lane, and there's nothing that Fnatic is ready to do against it. Your PL is still down for 6 more seconds. You get a silence on KP, but again, you've lost yourself another, in this case, a full set of racks on the bottom lane. Newbee at 27-minute mark has just gotten away with highway robbery.
I mean, Hal's not even done. He's just solo pushing a range Rex at mid, and like, okay, I'll just walk away. That was a full HP range Rex, which Fnatic just were too busy distracted the bottom lane to even try and defend. And I mean, how do you defend it? Mushi's got this blink BKB. He's kind of all about that BKB Requiem, but he had 13 souls on respawn. His ulti is not going to do any damage whatsoever. Newbee aren't afraid of it, and they're just plowing through the Fnatic defensive. You've got 4 heroes sitting on 12,000 plus net worth, and we're just 27, 28 minutes in the game.
It's crazy to think it too, because like when you look at the Fnatic lineup, you're thinking, hey, with all these globals that we've actually got, the ability to bring in support all the time, like Fnatic should have the better numbers, but then you realize just how far ahead Newbee are, especially when the Weaver's capable of doing what he did. Like, Hal now completes up a heart 28 minutes in. The Newbee heroes are just so much stronger than Fnatic, where you only require 2 heroes to get a huge advantage, and then they can capitalize on it because they don't have to commit big ultimates like Exorcism.
I feel like this is almost a trap Fnatic have sometimes fallen into with Ohio. Sometimes they pick him these more carry-oriented heroes. He played 1 game on the Broodmother.
Hal's going again. He actually wants to see if he can solo up this PL. Needs to find a real mid-1. Mid-1's trying to duke it out by staying perfectly still. Now Hal, that Ice Blast will fly in, but you've already lost your PL, and Hal will be able to tank through this, and in fact, Life Stealer, KP will pick up the double kill, both the AA and the PL together. And already Kako is waiting on the bottom lane. He wants somebody to come out, trying to relieve some pressure. He'll pounce, kill, and then Newbee basically take out. I'm not going to say a GG push, but they can pretty much force a buyback.
Thinking about it, but
yeah, with Mushi and Ohio,
heroes, yeah.
maybe not so.
If it was just 1. But yeah, to go back to Ohio, I feel like Fnatic have really shined when Ohio's been on these team fight oriented heroes. The Tide Hunter being the big one, the Darkseer, the other hero that he's been amazing on. But when he's played the Brood and here the Nature's Prophet, he's done really well. He's the most fun in the game, but it takes away too much farm from mid-1 and Mushi, who are very farm carry-oriented players. Ohio needs to be more of that team fight, space-creating type of hero to really succeed with this Fnatic roster.
Well, he doesn't have it this game, so Fnatic need to try and go around it. Well, they will try, but Ohio is dead. We will find the kill. The Sprout doesn't protect you when you've still got a Scarab Beetle attached. And Hal's fine with this. They got observers and sentries down. He sees the sentry of the Radiant side, so they get rid of the wards as quickly as possible.
They haven't got the damage to kill Hao at this point. With a Heart of Taras, even if you get the silence into stun from Earth Spirit, you're not going to have the necessary damage to kill him off. That's your only disable. This last pick Weaver has completely caught Fnatic by surprise. They thought the lifesteal was going to be played by Hao, but Newbee see an opening to pick Hao, one of his best heroes, and
Or top lane. This is not where Fnatic want to be. They're thinking about defending the lane, but Sean comes in from behind. Moose already got his BKB up on the wave of Terrace 3-4-3. He is so low, and Hao shreds him apart. DJ as well underneath the tier 2 tower. He's going to drop, and there it is. GG will be called. 3:15 is when we'll end this one. 30 minutes in. Newbee, a commanding performance here in game number 1 of this best of 3.
everything just went right. The laning stage, they won all 3 lanes with a jungle Beastmaster, and when you can get away with an Iron Talon jungle Beastmaster without losing a single lane and getting farm in every single lane, you'll win that game 9 times out of 10, if not more. Like, that's just almost not inexcusable from Fnatic, but you've got to get more out of your laning stage.
Yeah, they really did. It just didn't really seem